starts the 9 o'clock hour?
His 11th appearance. Already a proud member of the 10 Mug Club, even though I'm sure he hasn't received the club
Hasn't
yet.
gotten the mug yet.
No, and that's it. But what's that in the background?
Wait, turn it up. There it is.
The
See?
walk-up music.
See?
Yeah, he went a little Springsteen when we asked him that question a while ago. I said, Bruce, anything from Springsteen works for me for the walk-up.
There you go.
So there it is.
How you doing, Coach Hafley?
I'm doing great now. You guys just got me going. You guys listen. That's rare. I mean, you're right. Last time I was on, I told you my walkout song, and you guys bring me out to it. So I appreciate that.
That's the least we can do. By the way, Dino Babers mentioned that we just got done talking to him. He said, you guys in the media need to do your part. Keep picking us last. So I'm going to lead off with that. Before we get to signing day, staff changes, the momentum of the program, where would you like us to pick you for 22? What would be comfortable for your perspective from our end?
I'm good with anything. You can pick us first. You can pick us last. Wherever you guys feel like we fit. I just want to know where you pick us at the end. Where you pick us early on. It is what it is. I mean, all we can do is try to figure out where we finish at the end. So I respect you guys got to have all those picks. I love your power rankings. I think we should rank a ton of other stuff. We already talked about that. But to me, it's where we end, not where we finish. So pick us last, pick us in the middle, and we'll figure it out as we go.
I like it.
All right. You've been full of good news. I mean, after the disappointment of not being able to play in the bowl game, you guys have. I mean, Phil Jurkovic's coming back. You've John McNulty's your new offensive coordinator. I mean, it's been a pretty good month of January for the Eagles, I feel like.
Yeah, it's been a great month. We feel really good about the guys coming back. A lot of guys who were on the verge of leaving decided to stay, which was huge. We talked about Phil and Zay Flowers and Josh DeBerry and Christian Mahogany. And a lot of guys who could have left decided to stay, and it says a lot about them and our staff. And then, we lost Coach Signetti. He entered the coaching transfer portal, and, I'm really happy for him. He got a chance to get home and be with his family at Pitt. Him and I are really good friends. We still talk all the time, so I'm pumped he's home. The portal worked out well for him. But then I got a chance to hire John McNulty, a coach who I was with in Tampa Bay. Has a ton of NFL experience, phenomenal human being, love the scheme and where he wants to take what we were doing. And then he's a good recruiter, so really good to get him around too. So it's been a great January. Got around the guys this morning, our first mat drill, which was awesome. That's why I look a little tired. But I'm fired up. I just can't wait to get started again and be back in the office.
Coach, this portal, I think it's wearing on everybody. Coaches, players, media. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that I look on my phone and there's 20 new dudes that have decided to go somewhere else. And, eventually the story is going to be told. It hasn't been told yet, but eventually the story is going to be told of the thousands of student athletes that either got bad advice, misjudged, and ended up not finding a place to compete. And more importantly, get a free education. And, not to beat this up, there's so much positivity to talk about with college football, but man, this portal thing's got to get addressed ASAP. It really kind of feels as out of control as anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm all for some version of the portal. I mean, I get it. There's certain times and there's certain things that happen where players should have the right to leave if they choose to do so. So I'm all for that. There just needs to be guidelines because there are some kids, unfortunately, making bad decisions, and there's some players who aren't going to get out. So when you talk about the student athlete and that if you really are preaching that education is the most important thing, which I totally believe it is, there's going to be guys left in the portal who don't have scholarships and they don't have the means to pay for a college education, and they're not going to have a degree when they had the opportunity to graduate. And that's the thing that I think is the saddest right now. There's some other things. A lot of people are not signing high school players. We signed over 20. The development of young players, the development of your own team, and not trying to turn it over year after year. And you guys know how I feel. It's fundamentals, technique, developing people as men. So we're going to stick to it and do the best we can with the rules. And if a guy wants to leave, what can we do? We move on, we do the best we can, and we continue to coach.
Jeff, I want to go back to you. You're one of the few guys, and there are a lot in this league, but you're one of the few head coaches that have seen all levels, right? From the National Football League down to obviously Power 5, FBS, FCS. I mean, and you played at a different level. the portal thing, it preaches almost this unlimited ceiling. But as I was reminded by an FCS coach in December, nobody tells you about the floor, right? You keep hearing about the up, you don't hear about the down. As a coach who's worked at all these different levels and played at the others, is that your concern, not the ceiling, but the floor?
I think there's a lot of concerns. Yeah, the floor is one of them, and that's kind of like I just talked about. Look, if a kid is not going to play at a certain institution and he has a chance to go play somewhere else, I respect that, right? But if a kid after his first year wants to leave because he didn't get the playing time that he thought he deserved, he's not going to learn how to push through things. He's not going to learn how to fight. He's not going to learn how to compete. And that's bigger than football, guys. That's life. Life's hard. Mm-hmm. Football's hard. And I just think we're teaching them really poor lessons. Again, there's times and places where I think guys can leave, but I think we're going to see more of the floor than the ceiling. All these wonderful stories we're hearing about where a guy transfers to this bigger place and wins this big championship. How about the thousands of guys who are forced to transfer, to a lesser school, no disrespect, or not have a scholarship, or never play football again? So there's definitely some things I think we need to, put into place to restrict some certain things, or it's unrestricted free agency, which the NFL doesn't even have. We need a window. There's a lot of things we could talk about, and there's some pluses, but I worry the negatives are going to ruin people's lives, and that's not the business we're in. I came back to college football to change lives, and now some of these things are happening, and I feel like I can't even control it.
You talked about getting the guys to get in the start for the spring today. We got a chance to see the start of what a schedule looks like for all of us as ACC fans. Your opener against Rutgers, I think, is terrific because, number one, it's a Northeast kind of thing. Shiano's done a really nice job coming back 2.0. You've got unbelievable momentum with your program. It's the kind of game I would think that whether you're a Rutgers fan, a BC fan, that's kind of a cool opener. Big Ten, ACC, Northeast flavor. Let's go play ball, right?
Yeah, I think Coach Shiano has done a great job in his return. Obviously, I was there for him, his first go-around for a year, and was fortunate enough to have him take me to the NFL. So I love Coach Shiano and have a ton of respect for him. I think it's a great opener. Two Northeast teams, two teams that are built on toughness, fundamentals, and technique, doing things the right way. So I think it's a great opener. Truthfully, when the schedule came out, I looked at the opener, and I was excited about it. And then the only other thing I really looked at was I just wanted to see if we were playing Clemson for the fourth time in Death Valley and if Dabo somehow, I thought maybe Dabo got us there 4 years in a row. I love Dabo. I thought maybe he figured out how we could go there again on a Saturday night primetime game for round 3 or 4. But I saw that we play him at home, so I'm excited. And I think I'll show him around Boston. Maybe the night before him and I will hang out.
You know what's funny? We had him on the show yesterday, and we asked him about the schedule. He said, my man Haf up there, he's doing a great job. And I'm thinking, yeah, you love Haf because you never have to go to Boston, much less no matter what it be, November, October, whatever the case may be. So it's funny you picked up on that. And
awesome.
Again, I told you last year, you've been to Pickens County so much, I'm surprised you're not paying taxes because you're down there every single year, for crying out loud.
Oh, I love Dabo, and I did laugh when I saw that they were coming here. I almost did a double take and said the J-bomb. Wow, we did it! We got a home game against Clemson. So,
I got news for you. Dino Babers feels the same way, Jeff. He gets Louisville to come to the Dome for the first time in 4 years. I mean, what's going on, right?
Shoot, we've been to the Dome 3 years in a row too. So that was a good one. That was a good one to get.
Hey, and Kraft, did you and Kraft get in the room and go, okay, here's what we're going to leverage from the league. Clemson and Syracuse are coming here. Everything else we'll take, but those two are coming.
That's it. No, I like the schedule a lot. Like I said, besides the opener, I haven't looked too deep into it. Just hiring a coordinator and making sure our schedule's set. We got time, and we'll look through that and work it out. But you guys know me. Whoever we play, wherever we have to play, I'm never going to make a big deal of any of that. Just lucky to be a coach and go out and play ball.
All right, you mentioned John McNulty and the history that you guys had in Tampa. Obviously, he comes over from Notre Dame where he worked with Brian Kelly, and he kind of saw that version of that program. Why? And I saw some of his comments yesterday. I mean, he seems to be pretty much aligned with your intensity and your emotions as a coach. What about what he will do offensively gets you pumped up the most?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time on Zoom interviewing a lot of different people, with NFL, guys with college experience, some with none, college coaches. And then when we started to talk and he showed me a vision, it really fit a lot of the things that I believe in. And then watching how he's evolved and watching the other things that he was doing, as we started to watch the film, I started thinking, I do not want to defend this. I mean, this is really good and will be really hard to practice against. I knew him as a person. I respect him as a person. I've got a ton of calls from so many people with so many great things to say about him that after really spending a lot of time with him, to me, it was a no-brainer.
I'm going to switch gears on you a second. We had Commissioner Phillips on yesterday. The ACC has certainly made it crystal clear their stance as far as college football playoff expansion. Not that it's against it, but for right now, there's still work to be done and it'll be looked into. One of the things that's always been discussed is player safety. Given your time at Ohio State, Coach, you've seen what a playoff looks like, the extra games and the wear and tear on a football team. Your concerns of a college football playoff expansion, given your experience, that, hey, you know what, you might have to play 17 games if it goes to 12 or whatever the case may be. Where are you from the big picture? Because you've had a chance to experience it, big picture.
Yeah, I've experienced the National Football League where you have to play up to 20 games or more in the college football season, where that year, we played 13 regular season games, including the Big Ten championship and then a playoff game. I think if you go through this and talk about expansion, you have to look at the whole calendar. These kids are here all summer, right? They don't get much of a break. They go home for a week here, a week there, and then you ask them to play that many more football games. Well, when are you going to start the season? When are you going to end the season? How many games are we really going to play? I remember talking to some of my players before the 13th and 14th game, and it wasn't just physically, it was also mentally. Some of those guys were worn out. So can you get yourself ready to play 15, 16 games with keeping them safe, both physically and mentally? And if so, how are we going to adjust the calendar to make sure that their bodies can handle it and their minds can handle it? So I still think, is it a good idea? Sure. I just think we have to look at the player safety aspect, the whole entire calendar as far as our whole year goes, and then making sure we're doing it in a safe manner.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's longer than the fans and the media think. Fair? I mean, we haven't even talked about the 4-week or 4.5-week preseason, right? That runs up to the start of the campaign. And in the NFL, 10% of the roster changes in training camp from the original, 90-some you start with to the 53 you keep? I can only imagine if you add games in college, would you not also have to add some scholarship allotments there too, Jeff? Somehow?
Yes, certainly. In the NFL, every Monday you seem to you get in the office and they're bringing more guys to try out and work out because you lost some players. The longer you go, the more guys get hurt. You're going to need more players. And it's at certain positions, right? We're in a sport where you can't take a left guard and turn him into a linebacker, and you can't take an offensive guard and turn him into a DB. You get a certain allotment of players where you have to manage your roster. And the longer you go, that can become imbalanced, and you can't replace it during the season like you actually can in the NFL. And those are the things that we do have to talk about. And then do we limit contact as we get going? Like in the NFL, you only get a certain amount of padded practices, and towards the end of the year, the shoulder pads are off, and you're really practicing in just helmets. And then what does that do for the development of our game with these young kids, which to me is the most important thing? It's fundamentals, it's technique, and it's getting these guys to be really good football players. Again, I'm not against it. I just think we need to take a close look at it and make sure we do it the right way and think about the players.
There we go.
Makes sense. It does.
Right. Good to see you. Hope all's well up there.
You too, guys. Great to see you. We got some snow on the ground if any of you guys want to visit.
Oh, we don't have to come up there. We've had snow here.
Hey, big man. No disrespect. I know you got it better in Boston than anybody else, but we had drifts upwards to maybe 1-2 inches here. So
Hey, what is it you're saying? Packer said what? French toast till August
Let me tell you how we roll in the South, Jeff. The thought, not the actual accumulation, the thought that a snowflake can hit us here in Charlotte means we eat French toast till August. No bread, eggs, milk can be found in the grocery store in a 200-mile radius.
There you go.
The thought of snow.
You guys are great. I got 3 feet in my driveway, so if you guys, anytime, we can go sleigh riding right down it.
All right,
Yeah.
big man. Tag, you're it.
See you soon. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
You bet.